Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to some more Star Wars Battlefront, and today we're playing some Supremacy. I've tried most of the game modes out there, and most of them seem to be just a variation of Team Deathmatch. Now, since I'm not a fan of Team Deathmatch, to me it's going to be mostly Walker Assault. That's my favorite type, and that's what I'm probably going to play. But the problem is there's only 4 maps, and once you play them for so many times, you will end up getting bored. Now, I know there's a DLC coming on in about a week or two, and that's probably going to add maybe another map or hopefully 2. But I think we've already seen that map, is that sandy one, and I don't really see that map working too well for Walker Assault. I mean, if you look at Endor, Endor must be one of the coolest looking maps out there. It just looks and feels amazing when playing it. But the problem is, it's just not balanced well enough. I mean, if you're playing for the Imperials and you fancy yourself getting into an ATST, once everybody has the star card unlocked for the ion torpedo, once you get 2 or 3 of those into you, and that's pretty much it. You're not really going to make it too far out of your base. And if you're playing on bigger maps, like you're playing the one that we played in the beta, the Outpost beta, what it's called, you're not really going to make it out of the base. Many times we've seen people spawning in at the back of the base, and as soon as they spawned in, 2, 3 ion torpedoes, and that's it, it was out. You know, you work hard to try and get that. You've had to go for it, you had to risk going for it, and then end up being in there for less than 10 seconds, and then you having to get out just because everybody's got iron torpedoes. Now, if we look at Endor and you want to play some Walker Assault on there, again, your AT is not really going to do too much because you can't see anything. The AT, the Walker, just walks straight down a narrow path, and you can't see anything because there's just too many trees in the way. The Rebellion are all dressed in green, making it harder for you to see them, while you're dressed in white, and you're pretty much sticking out versus a green background. Again, not too much focus on balance or anything like that. And when it comes down to weapons, there's only 11 weapons, but out of those 11 weapons, the problem is you have a lock-on stinger to infantry. It's called the ion homing shot, or whatever it's called. I don't understand why that is in the game, why that's a feature. I mean, I understand that if you leave it, maybe if you spawn in, if you're playing as Leia or you're playing as the Emperor, you will have the option to spawn as a bodyguard for the Emperor or Leia. So I understand that maybe you want to leave it there just to feel those two, to make those two feel a little bit special, but why would you have that as an actual card where people can just hoard the shit out of that in big open maps? Well, I know there isn't that many big open maps, but hey, still, you can still use that to devastating effect when it comes down to Outpost Beta. On this map, on the Central Plex, you can't really use it too much because there's plenty of cover and easily enough for you to dive around cover. Still, it should not be an option where you have that. And don't get me started with the grenade spam, because you do have the option of actually equipping 2 grenades. And with the ability for you to have 2 grenades, it's just gonna create more and more chaos, because everybody's gonna equip. I mean, obviously you're gonna have the thermal detonator and you're gonna have the impact grenade. Why would you have 2 grenades that you can spam every 10-15 seconds is beyond me, when the beta feedback was there saying that needs fixing, that needs fixing, that needs addressing, that needs sorting. But they just never really took into consideration how the gameplay will work, how sort of the fans and the people that buy and play the game looked at it. You know, that's the major thing here. And another thing I'm sort of wondering what's going on is that if they're not actually going for the movie theme, so a bit of spoiler, if you don't want a spoiler from Star Wars, look away now. Now, as many of you know, most of the villains that we have in this game, they're dead in the movies. So I'm just wondering, why have they not brought in some of the other characters that we know and love? And the most iconic characters. Where is R2-D2? Where's Chewie? He's alive. Where's C-3PO? He's alive. You know, there's a lot of characters. I mean, Yoda's no longer with us, but there's Han Solo instead. But it would have been so cool, since you're not actually sticking to who's alive and who's not, just to see some of those iconic characters being there, and you having an option to choose it or maybe pick it up as a power-up. Like I said, maybe have R2-D2 as a little droid. You could deploy a little droid. Now you can actually have the pickup and you can deploy a droid. Why not that being R2-D2? That would have been just a little bit cooler. Or maybe have C-3PO come around with a gun and stuff like that. I'd love to see a droid option, something. You know, the droids, a lot of people just love the droids. And it'd be something cool for you to have in. I know probably most of this thing is going to end up being DLC, And I know you can't really have a Star Wars game without having the Emperor and having Darth Vader and having these massive iconic characters. You know, there is no Star Wars without Yoda and Vader and all that sort of stuff. It's just, that's just the way it works. But still, I think they could have just brought some of that stuff in, and that would have just made the game so much better and so much cooler. But I guess we're just going to have to wait for some DLC to come out, and hopefully some of that DLC will have some of those characters in, and we get to have a little bit of fun with them. Now, just before we end the video for today, on the stream on this Thursday, I'm going to do a reverse giveaway to a couple of Steam games and some Origin games that I have. Now, what is a reverse giveaway, you may be wondering? Well, I know not everybody can be around on the streams. You might stream at a different time, and people are at work, people are at school. So I'm going to just go ahead on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you posted a comment, liked a video or something like that, I'll just go ahead and choose some names from there, and that's how it works. Then you just have to watch the stream whenever you want. By watching the stream, you'll see if you've won or you haven't. That simple. And for those of you that have not picked up Battlefield Hardline yet, and you're still thinking, should I pick this up? Should I wait a little bit more before it goes down in price? Maybe a sale or Christmas sale, something like that when it's Christmas time. Then you don't have to worry about that either, because I have you covered with that too. I have another copy of Battlefield Hardline to give away, which we'll give away in the next video. We'll cover some weapons. What's the best weapons that you should use in Star Wars Battlefront? What's the ones that you should sort of overall use? Is there something that you should be using more than others? What's the best perks to use and all that sort of stuff? And that's all going to be covered in the next video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.